right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I have for you guys today, maybe some of you guys could guess what that story is going to be if you follow me or Larry Wheels on Instagram. So Larry posted this physique update, which is rare for Larry Wheels. Typically, he's posting PRs. Typically, he's posting lifting videos. Typically, sometimes he's posting memes. But this time, he posted 2 bodybuilding pose style physique updates. And you guys can see my comment on there, back to bodybuilding, with a curious, introspective thinking emoji. So that was my first reaction, and also I knew that a ton of people were about to tag me in it, so I wanted to let people know I had already seen it by commenting on it, and still a ton of people have tagged me in it. So Larry actually responded to that comment, and he said, "Ilya is coming to Dubai in efforts to help me gain a little bit more size." So it wasn't necessarily a yes, but it also certainly wasn't a no to the question of whether or not he's making a comeback to bodybuilding. Now, keep in mind the last time that we saw Larry on a bodybuilding stage was in 2018 at the NPC Nationals, where he clearly didn't do as well as he had hoped to do. If I remember correctly, his placing was something like 15th. But also keep in mind, NPC Nationals is where you go to try to get a pro card. It's the best amateur bodybuilders in the world, essentially at that show. So it's not like Larry got 15th at a local bodybuilding show. It just so happened that back then he placed pretty far away from getting a pro card. So I would like to see Larry actually make a run at this again. And you guys know I enjoy seeing crossovers. It's one of my favorite things in bodybuilding, powerlifting, whatever. Strongman. I like the way that Larry has crossed over from powerlifting to strongman to arm wrestling to bodybuilding. That's what makes Larry such a dynamic and unique character, is all that crossover appeal. I like to see Juji Mufu doing his first bodybuilding show ever this year at the Amateur Olympia. Crossovers are really the most exciting part of the fitness industry. It's fun to watch, it's fun to talk about, it's fun to report on. So would I like to see Larry make a bodybuilding comeback? Yes. And also he's referring to Ilya Golem, who is like the 360-pound mass monster covered in tattoos. He's like the new face of 5% nutrition. So I would assume if you're looking to put on size, it doesn't really get much bigger than Ilya Golem. So hopefully he gives him some good advice. But do I think Larry has what it takes to make it as a bodybuilder? I do. I think the bicep tear could set him back a little bit because symmetry is very important to bodybuilding, and that one bicep is always going to have that after effect, that look from the tear that makes it look so different from the other bicep. So there's going to be that. There's also the fact that Larry is taller, and bodybuilding tends to favor the short because it's easier to fill out your frame when you're shorter. It's easier to put on muscle in a balanced way when you're shorter. A longer arm and a longer leg is going to be harder to fill out than a shorter one. So bodybuilding typically is a shorter man's sport. Larry, I think, is what, 6'1", 6'2"? So there's also that. But another heavy component of bodybuilding is genetics. And when it comes to powerlifting, at least, we know that Larry Wheels is a genetic freak. And we know that for a powerlifter, he has a pretty freaky physique. He looks better than most powerlifters. You can certainly say that. So yes, I would love to see Larry make another run at bodybuilding. And actually, I'm going to go as far to say as I think Larry could earn his pro card if he worked at it long enough. I really think he could. But to be honest, earning a pro card these days isn't the same as earning one 20 years ago. It's a little bit easier now. And now a word from our sponsors over at Labrada Nutrition. Come on. Now, next up in the news, let's talk Arnold Classic. Let's talk physique updates. Justin Rodriguez posting today what he claims is his final physique update at under 3 weeks from the 2021 Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio. Justin, who is your 2021 Indy Pro champion, defeating Blessing Awodabu among others. Blessing was the big talk of bodybuilding with his pro debut in Indy. Justin defeated him there, and almost, a lot of people think, almost defeated Nick Walker at the New York show. Now, I wanted to talk specifically about this physique update because this is my favorite pose of Justin's, the front double bicep. Now, in this physique update, he's not tilting as much as he usually does, but I like the way he tilts when he hits the front double bicep. I think it's a very unique look to that pose and makes him stand out on stage. Justin is another guy that's going to be very dangerous in this Arnold lineup, and I think he's going to be very dangerous at the Olympia as well. I got to be honest, guys. The Arnold has really impressed me this year with this lineup. This is going to be, I mean, considering all the factors, with the virus, the money lost last year, with the shutdown of the Arnold Classic, no expo, that whole debacle, the fact that they're still making this show happen this year in 2021 is amazing to me. And not only is it amazing to me, but the lineup that they've been able to get is incredible. This is one of the most competitive Arnold lineups I think we've ever seen in a year that it's harder to travel than ever. Things are more disorganized than ever before. It's harder to hold an event than ever before. But the Arnold is having this crazy lineup where Justin is a guy who just won a show, a big show, the Indy Pro. He's a fantastic bodybuilder. And there's like 10 other guys that are just as good, if not better than him. It's a crazy lineup. In fact, thumbs up this video if you're excited for this year's Arnold Classic, because I know I am. And go ahead and give it a thumbs up even if you're not. And speaking of amazing bodybuilders in the Arnold Classic lineup, here's another one that I think people are sleeping on. Akim Williams. First call out at last year's Olympia. Best version of Akim we've ever seen. He seems to be improving. He seems to be figuring out his conditioning. He seems to be at the peak of his career. Can a top 6 Olympia placing be enough? Can the momentum be enough to carry him to an Arnold Classic victory? This latest physique update showing off how freaky and how big Akim really is. Showing off the bicep peaks that look more like mountains than just the peaks. Akim is huge. He's gigantic. And all he has to do in this update is just show his arm. That's it. He doesn't show anything else. And you guys can see how separated, crazy, and big Akim's arms are. Well, the rest of Akim is just as big. Everything except his waist, that is. If he comes in with a back that separated, with glutes and hamstrings that separated, he's going to be dangerous. And like I said, there's so many good bodybuilders, so many big names in this lineup, it's hard to make any type of prediction. You've got Akim, William Bonac, Rolly Winkler, Nick Walker, Hassan Mustafa, Max Charles. These are dangerous bodybuilders. Steve Kuklo. It's crazy. Ian Valier. Sergio Oliva Jr. These are show-winning, top-tier bodybuilders that are all in the Arnold Classic lineup. It's going to be interesting, and it's really hard to make a prediction because everyone in this lineup is good. Everybody in that lineup is first call-out material for the Arnold Classic. It's going to be a battle. Working away 5 weeks out from the Mr. Olympia. We're looking to see a much more improved version of Regan at this year's Olympia from a size standpoint in particular. I think his conditioning actually looked pretty good last year despite his placing of 15th. We just need to see him come in bigger. I think he got out-muscled and outsized at the last Olympia, and he's had plenty of time because he did qualify so early to focus exclusively on those improvements. I think he knows that. He has said in posts in the past that he's coming in bigger. And I think he spent that time wisely, and I think maybe we're going to see him play significantly higher than he placed last year. 15th is low for Regan. He can do a lot better than 15th, and I don't think it would take that much effort to improve upon that. Good lines, good structure. He's aesthetic for a men's open guy. He's got a ton of potential, and I think even if we see slight improvements from last year, he could be closer to the top 10 than 15th. But as always, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. It's an exciting time for bodybuilding. Just weeks away from the Arnold. Just weeks away from the Olympia. This is as good as it gets. This is as exciting as it gets. This is on season. It's go time. So give this video a thumbs up if you're excited to get into the bodybuilding spirit. The 2 biggest shows are coming up back to back. That's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like it up. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out.